All right, so move on to the next segment. On the combat series, we'll go ahead and switch things up a little bit. New year, new segments, the new things that we will introduce to the podcast. And one of them is pro wrestling. So every now and then, depending on the audience that I draw from doing these wrestling segments, and it will depend on how many wrestling segments we will do on the combat series. So bringing in wrestling, I'll be sharing my top 5 WWE matches of 2023. So I'll be ranking them from number 5 all the way down to number 1. So starting at number 5, my 5th favorite wrestling match of 2023 in WWE was Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes in the main event of WrestleMania 39 Night 2. Now, this match between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes was incredible. The storytelling was there. When the referee got knocked down and the interference that came when you had Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens get involved with the haluva kick on Roman Reigns in the corner, then you had the stunner hit on Roman Reigns with the crossroads. I think that was everybody in that SoFi Stadium thought that Cody Rhodes was going to get the pinfall victory to become the new undisputed champion. I think that was one of the greatest near fall counts in WrestleMania history. I was even sold that Cody was going to become the undisputed champion when it came to a storied ending, when you had Sami Zayn, who was a part of the bloodline. Then you had Kevin Owens, who was feuding with the bloodline. Then you had Cody Rhodes, destined to finish his story and hit for his father's legacy to win the title. And that just didn't happen. I think that was one of the greatest near falls. But the finish of that match, I just didn't like. That's the only thing I didn't like about the match. The Samoan spike that Solo Sikoa hit on Cody Rhodes, I think that should have been more for Roman to retain the title. There was actually a chicken that was thrown into the ring afterwards because one of the fans there in attendance was not happy of how the ending happened. But I do believe that the rematch that I do believe, and a lot of wrestling fans out there watching, listening, at WrestleMania 40 will be a legendary rematch. But that's number 5 on my list. At number 4, I have Carmelo Hayes versus Ilja Dragunov at NXT No Mercy. We saw a great match between Carmelo Hayes and Ilja Dragunov. Actually, we saw 3 great matches between the two respective wrestlers in 2023. I think they had one of the best trilogies in wrestling in all promotions 2023. But their best match together was at No Mercy on the pay-per-view card between Carmelo Hayes and Ilja Dragunov. The storytelling was great. It was a physical, brutal match. There were a lot of near falls that were great false finishes in the ring. But it was actually great to see Ilja Dragunov have his biggest moment in NXT when he won the NXT title over Carmelo Hayes. Obviously, he had his big moment years ago when he defeated Gunther for the NXT UK title years ago. But that moment that he had beating Carmelo Hayes to become the official champion in NXT, I think that was his greatest moment. And that was one of the greatest matches to me in 2023. That's number 4 on my list. At number 3, I have the Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at WrestleMania 39. That actually main event in night 1 of WrestleMania 39. The main event of night 1 was incredible. I think it was truly a fast-paced matchup. The storytelling was there, with Sami Zayn doing everything in his power to end the bloodline. He had to go back and get his friend Kevin Owens that he double-crossed in the War Games match in 2022 to get him back. And I do believe that that match between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and the Usos are all a part of their top 5 matches in all 4 of those respective wrestlers' careers. But what got me was, you can't see the commentary when you're watching it when you're watching it at home, but the videos that surpassed social media, when you had Michael Cole calling the Usos hitting the 1D on Sami Zayn, you can see his raw emotion unfold off of his face when he thought it was a 3 count because Sami Zayn kicked out of the 1D, something that no wrestler has done. So it was great pure emotion that Michael Cole showed with the false near fall. To me, that tag team match between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and the Usos was the greatest tag team match in wrestling all throughout all promotions in 2023. Obviously, the right call for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens to have their moment together to become tag team champions. That match was number 3 on my list. At number 2, I have Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 39. Actually, when you really think about it, WrestleMania 39 to me was the greatest event in wrestling 2023. But I digress. Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 39 was one of the greatest women's matches in wrestling history. I believe it lit a fire under both superstars that they were not main eventing WrestleMania Night 1. Obviously, they went to the USOs, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. So I think that lit a fire under them to produce one of the best matches that we've seen in women's history, one of the best matches that we've seen in the 21st century in wrestling. That was an incredible match between Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley. I think the moves were great. The drama was there. The hard hitting was there. There was great selling in that match. But I do believe it was great to see Rhea Ripley have her moment and win the title at WrestleMania. And I think you can see after the match, you've seen Charlotte Flair having pure emotions of her crying, breaking character, showing emotions of how great of a job that both of the competitors did in that match. One of my favorite matches of the 21st century. That's number 2 on my list. But at number 1, I gotta say the best WWE match of 2023 was Gunther versus Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre in a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. I do believe that this is hands down the best WWE match of 2023. And this was one of the greatest matches for the Intercontinental Championship in that championship's history. All 3 wrestlers did not hold back when they got the opportunity to go at it at WrestleMania 39. It was nonstop action. The match was very brutal, hard hitting. All three of the competitors' chest was red as an apple because of the chops and the selling and the hard hitting moves that all 3 respective wrestlers had in that match. But this match really proved that Gunther is, to me, the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, but has the ability to one day carry the company on his back, being a world champion in the very future, maybe in 2024 at the earliest. But I think that match at WrestleMania 39 was the greatest WWE match of 2023 between Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew McIntyre for the Intercontinental title. But those are my top 5 WWE matches of 2023.